Prime Minister Narendra Modi lied to the people of India that the Congress party in its manifesto says that it will take away people's gold and women's mangalsutras and give it away to Muslims. Of course, it is a big lie, and there's not a single line like that in the 48 pages of the Congress's manifesto. It is completely absurd. But it should be no surprise to us that when Modi ji gets nervous or panics, he utters nonsense in his public speeches. Remember how he said, "Punish me if I don't get back black money in 50 days, just a week after demonetization when he realized it was a disaster? Or how he panicked when COVID hit the world and he said, Mahabharata war was won in 18 days. We will win the Corona war in 21 days before imposing the lockdown? Or how he made that ugly taunt against Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee in speeches during the Bengal state election in 2021, saying Didi oh Didi, when he realized BJP was losing the election. So we know a nervous Modi lies and loses control of what he is saying in his speeches. But this claim about Congress taking away the symbol of Hindu womanhood Mangalsutras and giving it off to Muslims is extremely dangerous, reckless, and despicable. This lie from the Prime Minister directly is a dog whistle and can trigger communal tensions, all for the sake of votes. But here is the golden irony in all of this. It is actually Prime Minister Modi who has taken away people's golds and women's Mangalsutras. I am not saying this, the Reserve Bank of India is saying it. Puzzled? Let me explain. There is an expression in English called selling the family silver, which denotes very difficult times for family when they are forced to sell their silver to get money. In the Indian context, it is mortgaging the family's gold and jewelry. When Indian families are financially desperate, they mortgage the family's gold or women's jewelry to borrow money. As per RBI data, Indian families mortgaged their gold jewelry and borrowed more than 1 lakh crore rupees just last year. This is 5 times more than the amount they borrowed in 2019. That is, Indian families are mortgaging their family gold and borrowing money at the fastest rate in recent history. It has become so alarming that the RBI issued warnings to banks and financial institutions to slow down. It is a cultural and social blasphemy in India to go to a pawnbroker and mortgage the women's jewelry to borrow money. Only when families are in extreme distress, they do this. This is exactly what happened during COVID, when gold borrowing shot up by 125% that year, when families did not have any incomes and they were forced to mortgage their gold to borrow money. It is clear from RBI data that gold borrowing goes up when Indian families are in extreme financial pain. So when gold mortgage loans have grown nearly 5 times in the last 5 years, what does it say about the economic conditions of families during Modi ji's tenure? You know what is even worse? When incomes and savings rise for Indian families, they tend to buy more gold. When gold demand is high, India imports more gold since we do not produce all the gold that we need. India is the world's largest consumer of gold. During Manmohan Singh ji's time, gold imports rose 24% by volume between UPA 1 and UPA 2, but it dropped by 20% between Modi 1 and Modi 2. That is, Indian families accumulated more gold during Manmohan Singh ji's time, but mortgaged their gold more during Modi ji's time. Again, this is not my data, but imports data from the Ministry of Commerce. Modi's supporters may say that this data does not mean Indian families are worse off. It only means that they are choosing to borrow against gold more since it is more easily available now. That is not an adequate explanation for this humongous growth in gold loans that even the RBI is warning about. And if that was the case, then how come the data shows that gold mortgages rose exactly during COVID year and dropped the year after? That means it is clearly a sign of economic distress for families. And imagine, this data only reflects the formal banking channel for which RBI has data where families are mortgaging their jewelry. A large majority of lower middle class families do not have access to this and go to their local pawnbroker to mortgage their jewelry and borrow to tide over difficult times. That data is not even counted in this RBI data. So for all the hullabaloo about Congress Manifesto promising to snatch away people's goals, RBI's own data shows clearly that it is Modi ji who has snatched away women's mangalsutras.